Tourism. The Honourable
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I said earlier, the Supreme Court has a direct effect on every part of our country. But there are very few numbers of areas in this country where federal government decisions can have such an impact on people's daily lives. People from Atlantic Canada understand this reality. One of the largest industries in the Long-Range Mountains is the fishery. Because of that, when I speak with my constituents, as I did this summer and last year on docks, wharves and stages, one thing that's always been important to them are the decisions being made by the Department of Fisheries and Oceans. I raise this, Mr. Speaker, because I find it interesting that the members opposite have suddenly developed an interest in Atlantic Canada. They've suddenly decided that Atlantic Canada is important to them. Well, I find it ironic that this recognition was missing for 10 years while they were in government. It was clear under the previous government they did not recognize the importance of the Long-Range Mountains, of Newfoundland and Labrador, or of Atlantic Canada. For 10 years we felt ignored by the previous government. Whether it was cutting federal government jobs from Atlantic Canada, our province of Newfoundland and Labrador lost over 1,000, or gutting, pardon the pun, investments in fisheries science and research, which had terrible impact on all our fisheries with hard-working harvesters and plant workers throughout our Atlantic coast, or whether it was pitting the 4 Atlantic provinces against each other for their own political gain. And I find it interesting, Mr. Speaker, that the members opposite like to point out that our party won all 32 seats in the last election, and that they seem to think that they did a drive-by this past summer, and all of a sudden Atlantic Canadians will be fooled by their fleeting political motivated interest. I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, that those of us on our side of the House who are so fortunate and blessed enough to represent our ridings in Atlantic Canada, we will still be working hard for all our constituents long after the members of opposite have gone back to ignoring Atlantic Canada. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Justice stood this morning to tell this House that our government is supporting this motion, and she stood to confirm there will be candidates from Atlantic Canada on the list provided by the Independent Advisory Board. Mr. Speaker, as someone from Atlantic Canada, I am confident in the calibre of our judges, and I am confident that in any national search, Atlantic Canadians can hold their own, and that includes candidates from Newfoundland and Labrador. This new process to appoint judges to the Supreme Court will allow all Canadians to feel comfortable that the selections that will be made will be able to represent everyone in the country. For the very first time in Canadian history, any qualified judge or lawyer is able to apply for an appointment, and Canadians can feel confident that the 7-member advisory board will work tirelessly to select only the best of candidates. An Atlantic Canadian on the bench of the Supreme Court will not only give Atlantic Canada a fair rule, but will help Canadians and Atlantic Canadians feel confident in the system and in all rulings that are handed down by the highest court. What this does show all Atlantic Canadians that we are equal in a member of confederation in this magnificent country. While we have a smaller population that is spread out over some of the largest regions of this country, like my riding of the Long-Range Mountains, we only have a population of 87,000 people, but spread out over an area of 41,000 square kilometres. Our entire region is an equal part in this country, and I am pleased the Minister has reiterated the importance of an Atlantic Canadian voice on the court. That is why it is so important in our country that we know we were all treated fairly and we were all judged solely on merit. I am very glad we will be supporting the motion, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward to meeting our future nominee. Thank you very much.
Hear, hear.